Good morning. So, today the topic is punctuations. As you know, punctuations are essential for any language to make the communication meaningful, understandable. Okay, let us look into punctuations today. So, try reading this sentence. Well, as you read in your mind, you could see or you could observe yourself pausing at every full stop. If you punctuate unnecessarily, so this is how the effect will be. Now we can proceed. First comes the full stop, the most important and the most common punctuation mark ever. So where do we use a full stop or a period? Generally, to denote that a sentence is finished, completed, we use a full stop. So we have to end any sentence with a full stop. Always end your written sentences with a full stop. After then the next other use, the other use could be like after initials, abbreviations and contracted words is given. MTS is meters or mountains, YRS is years, Mr., doctor. Then you use a full stop there. Next comes the most important, comma. Comma is generally used for a short pause. When you want to stop, you use a full stop or a period. When you want to pause for a pause and don't want to stop, then you use a comma there. Generally, comma is used after an expression like most certainly. That's an expression. You can borrow my pencil. Most certainly, you can borrow my pencil. So, most certainly here is a phrase, is an expression. And add comma when a participle phrase is used. Again, it's used as an expression and then it's used after a participle phrase. Like walking slowly, I could see the beautiful flowers. Walking slowly is a phrase. Then the third point is include a comma when an adverb clause is used. After we eat, we should leave for our trip. After we eat here is the adverb clause referred. Comma, the use of comma is actually extensive. So the uses continue to the next slide. And this is a common thing. We use a comma to separate parts of date. Okay, so like Tuesday, May 2, 2014 was when I graduated. Add a comma when two separate sentences are combined. And this is one sort of combining two different sentences, two separate sentences. We purchased some cheese, comma, and we purchased some fruit. We are using a comma and another word called and. We will get to know more about it in another topic, but you have to use the comma and also the word and when you are using to separate or to combine two separate sentences. And the last thing about the use of comma is to set off quoted words. So when you are using something within a quotation and say like in direct speech, then you have to separate or set off it with a help of comma. Next comes the question mark. The famous question mark. We know whenever you ask a question, it always ends with a question mark when written. So we are generally using it to replace a full stop in a sentence to denote direct questions. Like the example given here is, did you really like my new hairstyle? So you're asking a question and you end it with a question mark. And next comes the exclamatory mark. Like say to add an add of emotion to a sentence when you are really happy or really sad or when you are excited about something, you'll be using an exclamation mark. I can't believe it. So it is really something to be surprised about. I think I have cleared all the 22 areas in one attempt. That's a really surprising or shocking thing to know. And to accompany sounds produced during various emotions, like we have certain onomatopoeic terms, like imitating terms or imitating sounds, and that's when ha, uh-oh, these are all the sounds which we use, right? So when you are writing that, you have to always use an exclamation mark after that. Ha, I knew it, you are a genius. Okay, that's how the exclamation mark is used. Oh, so we can take a break here. So, comma, you should take a break for a second. And full stop, we should stop altogether. And exclamatory mark is you agree. That's a really strange thing when you say you agree because you always disagree. And question mark is like, what are you guys talking about? Like, I don't know what's happening here. So that's questioning tone. So we can continue. There are still more punctuation marks to be studied. Next comes the brackets or parentheses. To enclose, usually we used to put brackets when we are writing like first thing included as an aside thing. There was 100. You know, people who can understand what is 100, they can understand. If not, you can write it in brackets. There are 100 vampires waiting at the door, bloodthirsty. And to enclose words or figures that clarify the existing sentence but not related to the main idea. Like when you want to give an idea but that is related but that does not come with the main flow of the sentence, you always use those ideas within parentheses or brackets. The example here, whenever she was happy, she started to draw and she drew all the time. So this is not necessary for the main idea, but still this is used as an extra information or clarifying some other things. Next comes the famous double quotation marks. We use that in direct speech, like when you want to quote exact words of someone, then you put it inside a double quotation marks. I hate you, said Juliet to Romeo. And for words used as examples, the words, if you want to use some words as example, like say the example given here is the words effect and affect are often confused. We are quoting the word, particular words, particular terms, then you have to put them in double quotation marks. Whereas if you want to highlight it, it's okay that you use italics while using a computer. And if you want to emphasize something while writing a script, handwriting something, then it's always okay to use a double quotation marks. When you are talking about double quotation, there comes another thing to your mind, that is single quotation marks. Well, we use single quotation too when you are quoting a dialogue within a dialogue. So we saw that Juliet said to Romeo that she hates him. So now when Romeo was talking to his friends, he quoted the words of Juliet. I could not believe when Juliet said, I hate you, wondered Romeo. So I hate you is the words of the Juliet, exact words spoken by the Juliet, and the rest of the things Romeo was telling this to his friends. And next, the use of single quotation marks is to emphasize a word or introduce quotations from other writers. Again, it's used for emphasizing something. The word quiz was first used in America. So the quiz is the word to be emphasized, so it's used within single quotation marks. And next comes apostrophe. We can call this a close neighbor to single quotation marks. So it's just a single one comma on the top. So we used to show this use this to show possessions. For example, Lisa's car, Rama's bow, Robert's pen. And there is an exclusive example here. For example, if the word ends with Ross, it's never a mistake, it's not a mistake to use apostrophe and s again, or just stop with the apostrophe when you're talking about a person whose name ends with yes. The example given here is Ross apostrophe s room, or it can be Ross apostrophe room. And similarly, when you are talking about a plural noun that ends in yes, for example, parents, it's okay that you add just apostrophe and not an extra s. Parents' bedroom. Whereas if the word ends with other letter than s, like children, for example, the next example here, children, then you have to use an apostrophe and a s. Children's rooms. And you are using apostrophe in contractions. For example, they have, orange, they will. The letter which you omitted is always substituted by an apostrophe. Next comes a semicolon. Like when you are merging two independent clauses and which is separated by the words, then you can use a semicolon. Basically, it's two related ideas that comes in two different sentences. They are combined using a semicolon. And semicolon is used between items in a list or a series if any of these item contains commas. Like we have two different ideas. There are basically two ways to write. They are introducing the two ways. First is with a pen or pencil, which is inexpensive and easily accessible. So this is the first way, and the next idea comes immediately. So you can use a semicolon here to continue the sentence and at the same time to separate the ideas, or by a computer and printer, which is more expensive but quick and neat. So that's where semicolon is used. And next comes a colon to introduce a list. We say like can be used to introduce anything, colon, words, phrases, lists, names or quotations. The hungry baby was thinking of lots of things. Okay, the baby was thinking of lots of things. The list is given and it is introduced with a colon. Cakes, chocolate, chips and pizza. The baby finished its feast in seconds. Again, colon, I will never eat again, he said. The first example is introducing words, and second example is introducing phrases or quotations. Okay, that's about colon. And next comes dash. You can call it, there are different forms, but it's always the same line, except the size matters. It differs. First is a hyphen, which is very short dash. And second is n dash, which is actually the size of the letter n. And the third is yum dash, which is actually the size of the letter yum. So that's a basic difference, but they are used for different purpose as well. For example, the hyphen, to join words and to separate syllables of a single word. Usually when we combine two words, like to make a compound words like good looking, cooperate, 20th century, we use a hyphen to connect both the words and form a new word. And second is the use of n dash. Generally we use a dash between the range of values or period of time, like the example here 50 to 60 years, 1990 to 2000, but that's what we mean by n dash. See, can you see the size of a hyphen slightly smaller than the n dash, and the m dash is slightly bigger than the n dash. So that's how the n dash, hyphen and m dash differs actually. The size differs and they are used for different purposes. Range of values or period of time, if you want to refer to any of these, then you'll be using n dash, that is 50 to 60, 1990 to 2000, So you are using n dash here. And when you want to indicate a sudden change in thought, for example, when you are talking about something, a main idea, and you want to divert it slightly and you want to introduce something new, then you will be using an M dash. The unicorn ate all the roses in my garden. That's the actual sentence. But you are diverting your idea in between. The unicorn which escaped from the circus. That is the diverted idea. This is separated using M dash. Ate all the roses in my garden. That's the use of hyphen, N dash and M dash. I think we have come to the end of the slides. There is one more thing to be understood when it comes to punctuation marks. There's one more thing to be included. That's what we mean by capitalization. While talking about capitalization, you have to remember the acronym MINTS. MINTS stand for, M stands for months, days, holidays. I is a personal pronoun, I. Names, it's names of people, place, country. And T stands for title of books, films, YouTube channels, games, anything. And yes, start of sentences. So MINTS, you can remember the acronym easily. So whenever you are about to write any of these words, it should always begin with a capital letter. My brother is in July. Sorry, my birthday is in July. I ran a marathon. Abbey. Places, London. Country adjectives, a German car. Title of the books, Harry Potter, Minecraft, YouTube channels, VJ Voice. In start of sentences, any sentence begins with the capital letters. You can blindly write that. So capitalization is also a part of punctuations. And that's all about punctuations and capitalizations. So be careful. Hope you can see this, how a punctuation makes a great difference. Because when you say, let's eat grandma, people think that you will be eating grandma alive. But when you say, let's eat grandma, come on, we can eat together. Then you are a good son or a good grandson, granddaughter. So punctuation, punctuate properly so that we can save lives. Thank you.